The real Enneagram is a sacred symbol that shows how three fundamental laws of the universe work together in harmony to create any and all things. It is known in esoteric schools as the face of God. It was taught in its esoteric form by an obscure and powerful teacher named G.I. Gurdjieff. Unfortunately, the Enneagram of personality was so popular that many people believed that the only function of this sacred symbol is an online personality test. There are 3 levels of esoteric teachings, and symbols are the highest level. The middle level is myth and parable, and the lowest level is story. The higher a level is, the less words it has. In this video, you will be enlightened to the true nature of this sacred symbol and its functions. This is not the Enneagram of personality. This is not a personality test in league with astrology and human design. This is the creative formula. This is the master of all systems. The Esoteric Enneagram is an objective map of how to create anything using the 3 immutable laws of creation. When you understand how any and all things are created, nothing is impossible. The 3 immutable laws are the law of time, represented by the circle. All creations will happen within cyclical time. When a creation is made well, following all steps on the Enneagram, it will cycle and recycle over and over again, without breakage or failure. For example, if you nail your book writing formula, your book writing Enneagram, you can use the same formula over and over. The problem is, it could take you years of trial and error to figure out what your book writing formula is. Additionally, if you miss a step, you will need a new formula every time. If you take an extra step, you're simply delaying your results while you do unnecessary activities that you erroneously believe contribute to your results. This can not only be a waste of time, but detrimental to strategic action over time. This would be like a football player believing the touchdown victory dance is a prayer to the touchdown gods that ensures the next play's success. They spend a lot of private time perfecting the original touchdown dance. When they don't score a touchdown, they assume that they didn't do the dance perfectly, and so they practice dancing more instead of playing better. Or, to use a book writing example, a famous writer wrote his first book at 5 a.m. after a cup of coffee with Bailey's Irish cream in it. When the book was completed, he credited the Baileys in the coffee, not the consistency of the practice. Now, he starts every day with alcohol because that's how he writes books. He hasn't completed a manuscript in some time. Differentiating extraneous activities from right action is essential to growth. The real Enneagram acts as a filter for extraneous activities as well as a funnel for correct action. If it doesn't fit within the context of the Enneagram, it's not necessary. If you fail to provide action at even one point of the Enneagram, you are missing a necessary component for creation. The law of 3, represented by the triangle. This states that the correct tension for balance is to have equal parts active force, passive force, and neutralizing force for balance to occur. For example, in life we have the active force of our desires, the things we want to happen. Then there is the passive or resisting force of our desires being denied. The things we want don't happen, and sometimes things we don't want to happen. In dualistic religions, they say there are 2 forces, God and the devil. When you get what you want, that's God. When you don't get what you want, that's the devil. This is not correct. The universe, source energy, and all things great and small have 3 forces. Sometimes that force is creating, sometimes that force is destroying, and sometimes that force is neutralizing. Something can be destructive and still be God. This is known as the Holy Trinity in Christianity, the Trimurti in Hinduism, the meaning behind the Celtic pagan symbol Triskel, and the geometric triangle. Understanding the 3 states is absolutely integral to the spiritual seeker. For example, if we are wanting to comprehend the 5th dimensional technology, we need to fully understand the 4th dimension. The 4th dimension is time and space. All things you want to manifest or draw to you using the 5th dimensional technology of world creation can only be drawn to you through time and space. If you don't understand how time and space work, then no amount of 5th dimensional knowledge will make it understood. No amount of knowledge can substitute understanding. To understand the 4th dimension, we need to identify its 3 forces. Like Nikola Tesla said, if you only understood the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe. identifying the law of 3 working in all things, and each force's placement at 3, 6, and 9 is exactly what we're doing here. The true nature of time is flow. Time is not a schedule, time is a flow. If everyone is scheduled to be at work at 7 a.m., that doesn't mean that that's in flow. Schedules divide, flow unites. Flow has 3 states. To be in flow, you must participate in all 3 states equally. There is an active flow, when you are outputting based on what you know. For example, writing a chapter of your book. There is a passive flow, when you are inputting based on what you don't know. For example, reading a book. You can still be in flow when you're not active. Studying or conscious entertainment is a necessary aspect of flow. And most importantly, and most often forgotten, there is a neutral state of flow. This is when you are shown things that you could not input or output. The third force neutralizes all conflict. If you want to write about the correlation between chakras and core childhood traumas, and no one can teach you this, it could be revealed to you if you stay in neutral. You are still in flow when you're not doing anything at all. Similarly, space has 3 states: distance, proximity, and presence. Something you want is near to you, and you're happy. Something you want is far from you, and you're sad. The neutralizing principle is that something you want exists. It's present somewhere. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you don't have it doesn't mean you never will. Something can be far from you and still be yours. Something can be near to you and be yours. Something can be unseen and still be yours. To know this is one thing, to understand this is quite another. Finally, when it comes to magic, with all of its various paths and pageantries, having a unified lens through which to view the many schools can save a neophyte considerable time and efforts. Magic is the ability to work the forces of the unseen world with the same skill you use in the seen world. When you demonstrate skills not usually seen in the common world, they call it a miracle. They call it magic. There are 3 categories of lesser magic. There is white magic, which is the use of will. There is black magic, which is the use of fear. There is red magic, which is sacrificial magic. All 3 are necessary. No matter how much dualistic hostility lives between the lodges, all 3 are necessary for creation. These laws are immutable. There are no exceptions. Finally, there is the law of 7, also known as the law of octaves. This law states that all creation happens in an octave. Oct means 8, yet the law is the law of 7. How? In an octave, we start and end with the note Do. When we count the note Do twice, it gives us a total of 8 points, not 7. Earth represents the note Mi on the octave of all existence. This is not high on the chain of command. Earth is governed by 48 laws, which could be compared to asking 48 people for permission before you do anything. Mi is short for Mixtus Orbi, which means mixed rule. This mixed rule is the duality of good and evil that all humans are forced to incarnate in. No human is born enlightened, aware of the third force that neutralizes all conflict. Enlightenment is this awareness. The Enneagram symbol is a map to enlightenment. In Tantra, they say the one became 2 for the joy of returning to 1 again. If you would like to know what the rest of the notes of the solfege are abbreviations for, as well as what the 48 laws are that govern our existence, I hope you will invest your time in this free short book, 9 lines, a primer to the Enneagram, and its corresponding masterclass on black, white, and red magic. A link is supplied in the caption. The law of octaves demonstrates that there are no straight lines in creation. No matter how much you would like to transition seamlessly from point A of your creation to point B, this is not how creation happens. More specifically, the law of octaves tells you exactly where your creation is going to fall off course. If you are not aware of this law, when things fall off course, you will either quit or blame yourself or the devil. Both of these options render objective creation impossible. However, when you are aware of where your creation is going to fall off course, because you have the objective map in your hand, you can prepare for it accordingly. If you would like to know where these points are that you will fall off course, as well as examples of this, I hope you consider investing your time in the free 9 lines ebook and masterclass, where the sacred and complex system can be presented in greater detail. An audiobook is available as well. Let's use pop culture to help us bring this all together. Shakira set the intention to make her old career new again. If she was using an Enneagram, she would be able to look forward and see that the Spanish IRS would be coming, that her husband would cheat on her, and that her father would fall ill. She wouldn't see the details of these exact events, but that big, complicated events would occur at these crucial moments. If she was using an Enneagram, the first thing she would do is make a circle. This represents time. Her old career would become new again within time. The next thing she would do is make a triangle. The triangle are the three forces present in her creation. At point 0, which is also point 9 at the top, she would put career. The active, desiring concept of new and the passive, denying concept of old would all be contained within the neutralizing world of her career. On the Enneagram, the significance of each point is immutable. Point 9 is always neutral, point 3 is always passive, and point 6 is always active. Then she would make the line of supervision, which goes from 1 to 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 8, 8 to 5, and 5 to 7. Each of these points are also immutable and can be explained in greater detail in the free ebook and masterclass. Her journey would begin with her decision to make her old career new again. When you decide with your whole being to change, by law, the universe takes the first 2 steps for you. In esoteric terms, if you sound the note Do with enough conviction, you will be carried to the note Re and Mi by the universe. She would then set her clear intention, for example, have more record sales than ever before, do a Vanguard performance at MTV, 10 million followers on TikTok, etc., have every single be trending. After that, she would collect her tools, get her producers, etc. If she had the Enneagram, she would know things are about to get hard. She would now be faced with the first and most discouraging of the obstacles at point 3, the passive point. Here, she will be forced to let her fears of being a forgotten, washed-up pop star completely die. Unforeseen chaotic events, the IRS coming after her. Would she fold or fight? At this same time, her nanny reveals to her that she is being cheated on by her husband. Would she fold or fight? She fights the charges and leaves her husband. Shakira chooses to fight. Not many do this. On some level, she remembered that she asked for a renaissance, and here she is. At point 4, all the limitations she's been given guide her to a breakthrough style. When someone folds at point 3, they can't get through the limitations because they believe it's the universe saying what they want is not meant for them. This is problematic. The limitations of her heartbreak, her eviction, and her legal battles become the fuel for her new album. She begins writing new music. She reaches point 5, which is the point of no return. She is ordered to stand trial in September of 2022 and prepares an unforgettable video for her first single with Ozuna, spilling the tea on what has been going on with her. She reaches point 6, where her old career is becoming new again. Her new single is released, and the internet is floored. She accesses a brand new fan base, and her existing fan base shows her support like she's never seen before. Her ex fires back in typical pettiness, and her beloved father is hospitalized for a brain injury. Will she fold or fight? She fights. The more you fight, the less battles scare you. She reaches point 7, her new single with Bizarrap. It is an overwhelming success. Her songs go more viral than ever, including Acrostica. She wins the coveted Video Vanguard Award by MTV and is invited to perform a 10-minute performance. Nothing solidifies the return of a career like this, and none of it would be possible without the difficulties she faces. At point 8, she reaches the second most difficult moment in any creation. When you are so near the finish line, it seems like everything you've worked for could be ripped away from you. Her trial is scheduled for November 20th, 2023, 2 months from today. Mark me, she will undoubtedly win. Not because we have hope, but because we have math. We have the Enneagram. However, unforeseen events will most certainly unfold here. The beauty of the final point of the Enneagram is that by law, when you get to the final step, an invisible hand reaches back and pulls you to it, like a marathon runner who is on the verge of giving up. They made it through the initial fatigue and unexpected cramps at point 3. They made it through the feeling that they were too far behind to place where they wanted to be. Now at point 8, they feel like they may not even cross the finish line. At each point of difficulty, the appeal of quitting becomes more and more tantalizing. But then, our runner sees the finish line, and a new wave of energy comes over him. He isn't given wings. He isn't given water. He isn't bumped to first place. He simply sees the finish line, sees the invisible hand, and is given fresh energy to complete the task. This will happen for Shakira. It's not hope, it's math. If you understand the master of all systems, You will never be blindsided by chaos again. You can accomplish the impossible anytime you choose to, for any project, great or small. This is not something that can be mastered in 15 minutes, but those who are hungry to know more will be well fed. Please, enjoy the free ebook and masterclass available in the description. Study until there is a force in you that nothing can destroy.